I'm asking a simple question. Does this practice of deleting our history or trying to, does that solve the problem? And all of those practices of let's make everything more inclusive, right? Is that what being inclusive means? If you run a business and you have a management team and they're doing a good job based on all of the metrics and criteria that you can measure, but the proportion of people of color versus white people there is skewed towards white people. Does that mean that you have to bring in people of color in order to do what? So that on the outside we can feel better about ourselves, that now we have a picture that looks more right. And why not do it with all ethnicities and with genders and transgenders and all of the different kinds of human beings that you have in the world? Then you'll have a proper picture of how a management should look like, wouldn't you? What I'm trying to say is the attempt to create a more inclusive picture, a more inclusive painting in front of our eyes, to try to make it, force all of these measure by which we can create this picture. It doesn't necessarily treat the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that people have racist tendencies. That's the root of the problem. And if you try to repress them in one way, they can erupt in another way. We all come from, it's deeper than that. We all come from a shattered, an action that we refer to in the process of evolution, spiritual evolution, that precedes our material world, that we refer to as the shattering, as you know, in the wisdom of Kabbalah. What that means is that this beautiful mosaic that was the collective essence of all of humanity, that was shattered into pieces. And because it was shattered into pieces, it means that all of those pieces are now, they are in this bubble. They're in this wrapper. They are enveloped by a certain force that allows them independence. All those little pieces are now independent, but it is independence that happens with a side effect, let's say. That side effect is a necessary side effect, and it means they have to feel resistance to others. So as long as someone is not exactly like me, which is ultimately me, I have a certain resistance to them. We are all xenophobic. We are all naturally more suspicious and cautious of people who are not similar to us. That is our state of being. Now, the more we evolve, the more we learn that about ourselves, and we learn that we can learn about other people and treat them differently and find commonalities with them, and so on and so forth. But at the core of it, everyone has a natural inclination towards resisting others that are not like themselves. It's deep down right there. And it's hard to look at the mirror and see that. Now, when you're trying to fix the problem of racism, are you trying to hide this problem, or are you trying to confront it? And as long as we're trying to say, oh, he did that, that's not good. We can't show this, we can't show that. The real question is, are we dealing with, is there any kind of inner work that people are doing to understand where that inclination is in them and how can it be fixed?
So to give my friend Asaf here, in his defense, when he called you all racists.
I included myself too.
We're discovering patterns in nature. We're discovering the operating system of nature. This is not some kind of judgment on anyone, just a discovery of what these forces are. Then what we do with the forces, that's on us.
Okay, we got to get there. We got to get to the good part. I understand, because everything I'm saying is too negative, right? Okay, we'll get to the good part. But before that, I just want to say this: don't cover it up. don't cover it up.
Also qualify that statement.
What?
You can't have people going out into the street and just no. We have to act.
No, what I'm saying by don't cover it up is that
inside
people,
yourself, you mean?
Yes,
understand.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, that sure. I'm saying people, as a person, I need to understand that I have these tendencies.
This is
and
like
that's
what you
just
said about
my nature. It's just nature. That's how we are. The more we are aware of it and acknowledge it and understand it, then we can consciously overcome it. Then we can actually do something about it. Not by covering it, hiding it, ignoring it, saying this is not me, this is not who we are, this is not who I am. No, this is who we are. It's natural. It's fine. It's what makes us conscious. It's what makes us independent. It's how nature shattered us to pieces so we can create a new consciousness above all these differences. Okay, go ahead.
It's the same pattern that we talked about earlier with the COVID. It's like the truth is we feel crappy and empty and bad. The kind of lie is I'm okay. I'm going to get the shot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on a vacation. I'm going to do this.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
And so here's the same thing. I got a feeling inside me that I'm superior, and on the outside, no, I'm not okay. And normally, you know what it's like when you have a conversation with someone who's very, very emotionally fragile. You can't really bring anything up, and they kind of point out problems with other people. Yeah. It's like that. So, but really, if we people here take a look at themselves, we all feel that we are we're the best or whatever it is. And we have these natural feelings towards others. Now, if we look at it, here's the next thing. Besides the fact that as Asaf, I would have used more gentlemanly language than calling everyone a racist. But here's the next part of it. You're not responsible for it, and you don't have to be responsible for it at all. You're not responsible for the coronavirus and the feelings that it brought you, and you're not responsible for these feelings that developed in you that you're unique, that you are special. This is how we are. This is how nature developed us, and it's on purpose because you are unique and you are special. But now what? Where is, as Mechanical Elf says, where is the anti-ego in all of this? So we don't have any force of anti-ego in us. I know this is hard to digest as well. We're 100% egoists, every single one of us. If you took enough time to slow down and think about it, everything we do, even if I'm nice to someone else, it's because I want to get something out of it. However, if we look at nature provides another force, right? Oxygen doesn't have any white shame or doesn't feel bad about himself or pretend no, oxygen stays oxygen and hydrogen stays hydrogen, and they must. Nature then brings them together with this third kind of force that unifies them in a way that you get water and all life can stem from it. So white, black, we're not talking about, do you want to marry someone from another religion, another race? It's irrelevant to what we're talking about here. We're just talking about inner feelings, inner emotions. We're not talking about, what you're going to go out and do with your hands and your feet inside, because you could have two black people or two white people next to each other who want to kill each other, who think that they're better than each other, or two religions, two people of the same color who are different religion. It's not limited to color.
Happens every day.
Every day. It's not limited to color at all. But once we understand who we are, I'm oxygen, you're hydrogen. If we're gonna, I'm water, you're fire. If we're gonna fight with each other all day long, we're just gonna make smoke and nothing. We're not gonna make any progress.
So how do we connect? how do we actually rise above racism, right? What is this anti-ego that Mechanical Elves is asking about? So here is, we have a couple minutes left. Here is something I'd like to add here. All of those differences between us, like Seth said, they are created by nature. Nature made us different, and we find ourselves, I'm deliberately using this word, we find ourselves in a corporeal, material, physical existence different from each other, and a little suspicious and sometimes hostile and violent towards each other. Now what do? This is the game that we were put in. We are supposed to find, through this external appearance, a deeper binding force, an invisible thread that connects all of us, beyond all the colors, beyond all the differences, beyond all the races. How do we do that?
Which allows each one, after billions of years having developed the way you are, do you know what went down to make a Mechanical Elves, or to make a David Mancini or a P. Marvin? Do you know how many billions of years of trial and error and process and evolution to get to this? This is something that's precious to the system. There's no reason to cancel these things at all. And all of these qualities are specifically the qualities that are needed right now.
And the only way to bring them together is if we all start focusing on something that we actually have. Check this out. Something that we actually have as human beings universally. Is there such a thing? Is there a deeply embedded quality of all human beings, shared by all human beings, doesn't matter what color, mentality, background, language, nationality, whatever it is that you think you are? Is there something that makes you and that completely other person exactly the same? And here's what it is. We as human beings have a unique desire to understand and feel and attain the meaning and purpose of life. As long as we are not focused on it, we're going to be fighting with each other. We're going to be focused on what my body likes more, what your body likes less. The more we start delving, the moment we start delving into that true quest that we were put here for, to be honest, which is to understand what is our meaning and purpose in this life, in this world, that is going to take us deeper. It's going to allow us to penetrate through this material external picture of all those differences. We're going to discover how we're all connected on the inside, despite all of that external contrast. And that attainment of that difference between the differences on the outside and the unity and oneness and intimate inherent connection that we have on the inside, that is the reason for our creation. That is the reason why we're here. That is why we feel resistant and hateful of each other to begin with, only so that we can independently, consciously discover our deeper inner spiritual oneness. So the fact that in our time there's this growing question of racism and how to deal with it, and we don't know exactly what to do with it, that is an indication that we already have to start moving into a deeper level of human connection, a deeper level of human experience. We need to start engaging. That's also why COVID is here. That's why ultimately all of the global challenges that we're facing right now are in order for us to start going deeper into who we are, why are we here, what is our life for, what is the purpose and meaning of human life. Every human being has that desire. It doesn't matter if you're a child, an adult, black, white, yellow, red, wherever you are in the world. You need to know why you're alive. You have this question inside, and it's a unique desire to human beings. The moment we start delving into that, we will find that we are one collective species, that we are connected deeply, deep down, beyond all those colors. And then we will even see, last word, last sentence, we will even see that our differences are great. They're wonderful because they allow us to create, to discover the oneness of the governing force of nature. It can only appear to us through differences, through diversity. Only through the contrast we can understand what oneness actually means. We can attain what unity actually is. We can come to a conscious experience of the wholeness and oneness and eternity of all of nature. And that's what the Great Transition is all about.